Crowds have certainly been entertained at the 23rd running of the Passion for Speed Festival, and a special event here this weekend as well sees cars out on circuit in a tribute to the famous racing driver from South Africa, Basil van Rooyen. And Peter du Toit takes us through a little bit of the history behind the man and all the machines he raced.
Basil van Rooyen was one of the great icons of South African motorsport. He raced in Anglia at Grand Central, and then he went on to far greater things with the Lotus Cortinas. He is known for the Mustangs, but I think his greatest claim to fame in terms of preparing and racing cars was the Can-Am Chevy of the early 1970s. And we have two examples here today. Rudy de Vos's car in the colors that Basil raced. And then we have Jeff Mortimer, who was the backup to Basil in the racing team, but helped engineer and build these Can-Am cars. They only made 100. Today they're a very sought after collector's item, and it's truly unique what he did, and it stands, before us as the ingenuity that we had that came to Basil. Basil not only raced cars, he designed engines, he designed components, and he was also a Formula One driver.
There's just so much history in South African motorsport, and one of the big ones that everybody wants to win is the SATT here at the Passion for Speed Festival. And it's a big field of cars that have come out to play, and they're all looking forward to the battle that's about to go out for 45 minutes. And this car had a massive battle with the famous David Piper.
Joe Bonnier he was supposed to win that race, and he bought the car to win the race. It was a new McLaren M8, He'd been driving, he got 2 or 3 Lola T73Bs, which were good cars, and he got Johnny, he got some very good Swedish drivers driving them. There was a very good field. There was Teddy Pillette in a very nice works Alfa Romeo, and really, he'd planned. Well, he was always supposed to win the Swedish Grand Prix. Joe had a spin and he couldn't make it up, and I was driving very consistently in my car, and I managed to win the race.
That's one car to look out for. Dino Scrimanti might be the other as he gets into his B8, but it's the M8 McLaren of Kenneth Pearson that'll be looking to maybe emulate what the famous Swedish drivers did back in the day. He's on pole, so there's a good possibility that he might be the man to beat. It's double wave yellows through turn 1 and 2. They only get a green flag coming out of turn 3, just to keep the field nicely bunched and not too much action through corners that can normally end up in tears if they go in there too hot. So this is a nice way to kick things off. It's 45 minutes of racing, so you've got a lot of time to make up ground. And you can see there's a field of note out there looking to go to battle. In the mid-pack, you'll keep an eye on some of the little giant killers as well. Here goes Chris Davison in Michael Briggs' car. And looks like there's going to be a fine battle at the back end too. Front end though, it is exactly what we expected. That M8 leading things out at the moment. The GT40 of the two du Toit brothers is on its tail. And looks like they're starting to sort things out there in that mid-pack already. And looking for opportunities wherever they may arise. One I'm a little bit concerned about is just in that mid-pack. Oh, don't even worry about that. A massive spin right on lap number 1. And that's Kenneth Pearson spinning out in turn number 6. And looks like he might have taken out a previous winner there in Warren Lombard. Warren Lombard had nowhere to go. And the Pep Boys Automotive and Gavin Wilkins Racing Cobra just got sent to the sideline trying to avoid the spinning M8. So it looks like Pearson might be able to get going again. He has, but look at the battle scars on the side of that M8. That's an expensive outing for that machine. But it looks like it might be an even more expensive outing. Yeah, there we go. Confirmation, Lombard out. And he hadn't even completed one lap. Here comes Pearson into pit lane. And it looks like the woes of that McLaren might have got the commentator's curse here from David Piper. That's not what you want to do in terms of starting. Josh Spears, one of our British friends, is in the Trans-Africa Racing Daytona in the background. Saw him stepping out ever so slightly as well. And look at the fight between the GT40s now and that little chevron of Dino. So out front, is that Oliver Delay? It is. Ollie Delay leading things out. Du Toit in second, going the inside line on Peter Bailey, this time in the GT40, not in the 917. So you've got GT40s 1, 2 and 3 and a Chevron B8 about to get in the mix with them, with Dino Scrivanti at the wheel. It's not kind of what we expected though, but great to have Dino back on circuit, that's for sure. Just behind them, have a look and see how they're lining up. It is Josh Dovey and Jake Dovey sharing that car. That little Janetta coming through there rapidly, and just behind that is Johan de Bruin in his 911 RSR Carrera. That's how things happen here. It's always a great mix-up, and never know what's going to happen in this SATT. There's been so many dramatic finishes to this race in the past, and most of the time you got to see them right in the closing stages. This time, though, we got to see them right up front. So two massive contenders out of the race at the word go. And that's definitely not what they were expecting. Spears coming through there rapidly. Starting to close things down there ever so slightly on Thomas Falconer. Falconer running the front end. Oh, there you go. You can see there coming from the bottom, and one of the pit crew there. That is Michael Koenig just saying, no, it's all over. So it looks like that is not where that M8 wanted to finish. And certainly not what they're expecting from Kenneth Pearson and Jan Kling's point of view. GT40 battle continues at the front end, and it's a nice little one starting to heat up with Dino into the pack as well. And you can see it looks like a bit of pressure coming on to the back of Delay now. Robbie Frank pulling off the circuit there in the Lotus, but Delay leads out and Dino's up to second. DeToy drops down into he's down to third place, but it's kind of not sorted out just yet. You can see they may just be holding back slightly, because remember, there's still a long way to go here. And Mark DeToy knows exactly where to place that car so that he'll still be in the running at the end. Peter Bailey starting to close that gap down again. He lost a little bit of ground. Let's go into pit lane and see what's happening. Alan Mayer looks like he might be having some issues out there too.
We had a good start, and then the car started to misfire, and I changed fuel pumps. I thought maybe the one pump, but it's still misfiring, and then the water temperature is spiking the whole time. And we've stopped now, and we've seen it's blowing out a lot of oil. So instead of spoiling the race for all the other guys, we'd rather pull out. And I assume maybe the motor got hot, although it doesn't smell like it's got hot, but it's pumping the oil out, and it's a big no-no.
Yeah, we definitely want to see you all on the circuit. Thanks for that, Al. GT40s now 1, 2, and 3. Was that Dino with some issues? Yeah, Dino's slowing. Dino Scribanti slowing up there in that little B8 Chevron of his. And he certainly didn't want to have that happening. This is Steve Pickering and Stefan Pushkaves sharing the 910 Porsche. And then further back there, the Marauder of Ben Pinar fighting hard there with the 5 car of Dion Schwabski. Schwabski's had a fantastic day. He's had a really busy day. Been involved in a whole bunch of classes. Looks like a little bit of issues down in pit lane, though, for Robbie Frank. Bit of frantic activity in pit lane, but more importantly, have a look at the smoke coming out of that GT40 of the DeToys. Is that possibly a problem? You can see guys coming in, potentially not for scheduled stops there. That's for sure from Patamba's point of view, but I'm worried about the smoke. Look at the work being done there, frantically, on that McLaren to try and get it back on circuit. That's brilliant to see. Okay, so now we know why Dino Scribanti slowed up. A little bit of a hit to the top of the hill, maybe going into the back. Is that possibly why that car's smoking as well?
We had some waters going out of the overflow. It's a fail-safe gauge we got on the windscreen that blows water on the windscreen, so they can't say they didn't see the temperature gauge. So a little bit of water came out, and he said, well, I told him to stop, and so he listens, so he stopped. But it's fine. It's not too bad.
Looks like the Dovies are going to make a change here, and the Janetta, they were sitting in third place as they came in. So at this stage, I would say it looks like it's possibly Peter Bailey who leads out. That's going to move Roy Campos up into possibly the top 3.
Good first stint, was having a dice with the Porsche most of the 10 lap, most of the session. Kept it on the tarmac, happy days.
Sticking with the allocated minutes that are there for the pit stop, you can see Gerald Wright making sure that they stuck to that 3-minute time. Looks like they might be bringing Peter in. He's getting that board, being told he's sitting in second place at this stage, so I wonder if that means Campos might have hit the front. Further back in the pack, you can see, yes, he has. Campos has actually hit the front. He leads things out, can you believe that? In the Peter K. Eddy BMW. What a way to go. On his tail, pushing hard there, all the way from the UK, is John Spears in the Trans-Africa Racing Daytona. And what a way to go here. Campos would never have thought he'd be leading in a 328 BMW, but he's there. That's always a man to watch out for in this series. Dino trying to make up ground now. He's slowly but surely looking for a chance maybe to get back up into that top 10 overall. This is Oliver Delay coming into pit lane. Kind of expected him a little bit earlier on. Thought he might have come in with that window that everybody else took, but he stayed out a little bit longer. Is it going to play a dividend? He goes to the back of the pack. That's of course where he's pitting. And in fact, looks like he might be slowing down. I'm not quite sure if Delay will make it back out onto the circuit. Now the DeToys are in full flight. as their fellow Trans-Africa Racing machine of John Spears pulls to the sideline there ever so slightly. So looks like he might be having some problems there. Has he got it sorted? Yes, he has. And it just spun out there coming out of turn 6. Speaking of spinning, oh, that's Bailey. Bailey with a big moment. 360 degrees in a GT40. What a catch. It's a bit of driving there from Peter Bailey, but it is his own car. He'll know exactly how to get that car under control and does so. Little spin, little wave. Looks like it's all okay. Continues on his merry way and looking for a chance now to possibly now get at least first or second in the bag. That's probably going to be second place now with the Toys leading things out. Where is Dino? Dino's made his way up nicely. He's into the top 10 and looking to close down possibly for 7th place at this time of the day. But he's lapping really quickly. So whatever that issue is, sorted it out and it's now performing perfectly. Roy Campos comes in after leading the race for a little while. He'll drop back out into the top 10. Thumbs up there from him. Spinner, that's the 3 car. That's a Porsche, unfortunately, spinning out there. And if I'm not mistaken, that's Jen and Tim Abbott. And I think it was probably Tim Abbott at the wheel at that stage. It's Jonathan du Toit at the wheel of this machine right now in the closing stages. He's done it to perfection. Majority of the driving was done by his brother, though, so John will certainly give the accolades, I think, to Mark. But another fantastic victory on the cards here for these two boys. And another tick on that board. It's an important board. The SATT board will have Jonathan and Mark du Toit winning the 2024 version and the 23rd running of the Passion for Speed's SATT. Brilliant run from them. Peter Bailey will get 2nd place in a GT40, and Josh and Jake Dovey come through for 3rd place in the Ginetta. Great drive from Johan de Bruyn. In 4th, he beats out Dino Scribanti, who managed to get himself back up into the top 5. Ahead of Faulkner, Roy Campos, John Tendershate, Schwabski, and John Spears. Let's catch up with your SATT winner. Well, one of them, Jonathan du Toit.
Yeah, we had a good race. I must say Mark must take most of the credit, not me. I only drove the last 10 minutes. So, yeah, I mean, car ran perfectly. We've been struggling with this car for the last couple of years. It's been struggling with overheating problems. It is still really, really hot inside there. Engine temp's 80, but I think cockpit temp's also 80. But yeah, really, we nursed it home. Car ran like clockwork. Really happy.